If you're interested in telekinesis, then in turn you are interested in your own potential to go beyond your perceived bonds and explore inner power. Developing and learning this skill is not easy to do, as it takes time, patience and dedication in order to see results. Worse yet is how easy it is to find yourself stuck between a rock and a hard place, where no results occurring, other than watching your frustrations boil. No doubt if you practice this art, you have ran across many articles and even videos that give you the basics on how to do telekinesis, and maybe even illustrated some common mistakes made so you can avoid them. The focus of this article is highlight some of the less common stumbling blocks those interested in developing this skill may find themselves in. Speaking from personal experience, there are 4 issues that can sprout up and cause problems without you being specifically aware of it doing so. 1. Self-reflection. 2. Resonance. 3. Letting go. 4. Proper focus. The 4 actually blend together pretty well. Self-reflection. Self-reflection is often overlooked by many who practice and try to develop telekinesis as a skill. Especially by those who are just starting out. They skip over this important part mostly because they can't wait to start moving objects around without touching them. The appeal is very strong, there is no doubt about that, and I can understand that things like meditation and self-reflection by comparison, probably doesn't quite sound as entertaining when you compare it to telekinesis itself, but alas, it is very important. There is no solid definition or formula for how telekinesis works. Because of this, we are left to our own devices in order to discover our own capabilities. We take what science can give us to help form a structure, but after that, it is up to us to flesh it out. After a rough body has been structured from what science has told us, we then have to look to our beliefs to fill in the rest. Doing our best that when we traverse into this area of speculation, that we keep our faiths as grounded and realistic as possible. What does this have to do with self-reflection? Well, in short, after the bare amount of knowledge you can acquire on telekinesis, the rest is up to you. You become the tool in which you learn and experience. When you spend a bit more time self-reflecting, you will find you will discover things about yourself, and this will help you understand yourself more. This will help you understand what you believe in, and why. Why you may interpret this experience this way, and not another. But most importantly, the more you spend reflecting on yourself, the more you get to know yourself on a deeper level, the more self-worth you acquire for yourself. And believe it or not, self-worth plays not only a large role in your success with telekinesis, but in life in general. Resonance. Resonance in short is when 2 similar vibrations or frequencies come together to create a larger force. In this way, I will focus a bit more on the metaphysical, or even metaphorical. Using the above involving self-reflection as a reference, let's say you have been doing some self-reflecting. You now know a bit more about yourself, and strangely enough, you feel closer to yourself. As if maybe your skin fits better, and you feel a bit lighter. Because of all this soul-searching, you also know more about what you believe, and why. You even got a bit more comfortable with believing in some things that society in general doesn't. Because of this, your progress in telekinesis, or whatever it is you are pursuing, has begun to take off. Why? Well, because of resonance. It is important that you find what you truly believe in and stick with it. When it is something you truly believe, you will feel it. It will sing from within, and you will feel more positive about it overall. I had to learn how to believe in what I believe and not be swayed by likes of the collective voice telling me, no. Interestingly enough, I began to realize upon some self-reflection, that I subconsciously believed in things that consciously I either wasn't aware of, or thought I didn't believe in. When I was able to harness some of this knowledge about myself, I was able to create a resonance of sorts within. More or less, I aligned harmonious beliefs that seemed to feel right, and encourage me to continue on. If something sounds strange to you, then don't use it. Even if the very people who you look up to for information is the one who said it. Don't be afraid to have your own beliefs. After all, the ball is still in the air as to how it actually works. You could be right, even if it may sound unlikely. Letting go. Letting go is very important as well. Especially when developing something like telekinesis. General consensus usually shuns or even berates people who try to go beyond their own limitations. Over a lifetime of people dictating and passing off their own limitations on us, we often adopt them as our own. So even though deep down we believe that our potential hasn't hit the ceiling yet, if we want to actually see how far we can take it, we have to begin shedding these old ways of thinking. Much of this can be cured by self-reflection, once you understand more about it, of course. We as people often think in terms of the negative. What's the worst that can happen? What we don't have. What makes us suffer? What we can't do. These doubts needs to be purged. Though this won't happen overnight, it will happen. Affirmations can work wonders here. Start by turning every thought and feeling around to the best of your ability, towards the positive. What's the best that can happen? What do I have? What makes me happy? What can I do? Thinking negatively is like a bad habit, and you will probably skip up from time to time. And like most bad habits, when you try and kick them, they seem to storm in all the more. Fighting furiously to keep things the same. When this happens, let it go. You will probably tense up, and your first reaction is to try and fight these thoughts and feelings off, but I would suggest not to. The more you fight it directly, the more you actually fuel the fire. Instead, try and take a deep breath and remind yourself that all is well, and think of something different entirely. If it is something that you cannot take your mind off of at that moment, because you are trying to deal with it in real time, then instead, take a deep breath, and become aware of yourself. In this awareness, try and feel strong and stern. Remind yourself that fear or doubt or negativity is merely inflated because you fear or doubt your own ability. In most cases where fear is present, the fear is unjustified. More or less it is an unconscious phobia of sorts. Meaning an irrational fear. Try to remind yourself that you're strong, and let go. The more you can let go of these negative aspects of yourself, the more things will just seem to flow for you. Proper focus. Proper focus is an essential skill needed for developing telekinesis, as well as many other areas in your life. The common way people seem to focus is through effort, or strain. When they try and focus on something, they often try and employ muscle power into the mix, especially with telekinesis, where we are trying to perform a task usually left to the muscles to achieve, but without the muscles actually participating. Instinctively, as we focus on such a task, if things aren't going our way, we try and use more force, and then more still. This begins to create a vicious circle of sorts, where more effort means more stress, which leads to no further results, which leads back to more effort. Keeping with the theme here, we will use letting go to help with this endeavor. Proper focus is best achieved while in a relaxed state and when your worries and concerns, not only about the day, but about telekinesis, have drifted away. You sit relaxed, and open your mind, creating a free space within, with room to breathe. In this space, you won't let thought enter, it merely remains free. When you feel you have reached a comfortable state of relaxation, and your expectations aren't egging you on, you then bring the object into this space. Don't try and think about it, just experience it a bit. Soon you will begin to realize you can sense it. At this point, then try to understand, on a deeper level, that you are connected to this object in some way. Try not to define in which way you are connected. Then, try and move it. Imagine a force or energy gently caressing its sides, or maybe its innate energy beginning to stir and move. Imagine this as realistically as you can. This is a pivotal point, as at this point is often where people will start thinking about the legitimacy of what they are doing. Beginning to question whether or not what they are perceiving is real, or just imaginary, and if it will actually affect the object at this point. Admittedly, it will take some practice with this before you get good, and the object will start moving, but you will get there. But this is also important because you need to let go of such expectation and doubts and try and embrace what you are doing on a deeper level. Don't think about it. Once you start to see results, you will let the experience do the talking for you. Anyways, I hope this article was informative for you. This journey of self-discovery can be quite fun when you learn to let go. Pun intended. Developing telekinesis can be very rewarding. Don't forget to believe, it is after all, about you.